did he claim to be God?
Yeah, the Jews thought he did.
The Jews thought he did, but he said to them, but I only said. So what did he say?
Did he say no?
Hang on. The Jews thought he said he was God, but Jesus replies to them. He says,
Did he say no?
excuse me. He said, but I only said. When somebody says, I only said, does that mean he also said something else?
That's an argument from silence. Did he
That's
say no?
not an argument from silence.
Did he say no?
Okay. If God says, I have only...
No. Did he say no?
I am replying, my
no?
friend. I'm replying.
Okay.
If God, the Christian God says, I have only one begotten son.
Jesus.
Does that mean he also has other sons, or he has only one begotten sons?
Only one begotten son.
Oh, now, if he has only one begotten son, then it excludes everything else. So if somebody says, I only said, how can it then include something else? Where is the Christian interpretation?
Okay.
Come
So
on.
Are you going to answer again? Did he say no?
I'm going to speak to now Filippo. I think I've dealt with you now. Thank you very much. Filippo, I'll continue.
I think he says it pretty clearly.
No, that's what I'm asking you. There's two options. Either it's very clear or it's ambiguous.
It's clear all over the microphone, sir. No, sorry. It was just
clear,
funny for
it's
me,
very
the microphone.
clear.
Yeah.
So,
So is it ambiguous or is it clear?
I do think, in my opinion, it is very clear, very clear
Okay.
to be God.
So if I were to now bring in,
Right.
because it's an English statement,
Yeah.
non-Christian, non-Muslims, so we remove that bias of religiosity,
Yeah.
people who understand English very well,
Yeah.
and we give them that statement. Before Abraham was I am, by reading that...
Before Abraham was like,
No, before Abraham, I am.
Okay,
I think it's-
okay?
whatever. Yeah.
No, that statement that you're referring to.
Yeah.
Sorry, I may be misquoting
worries.
what you just said. I'm actually quoting what the Bible says, not quoting you. Okay? So, before Abraham, I am is what you quoted.
Yes.
That statement, if I were to take it to professors of English language who are non-Christians and non-Muslims, from that statement, reading it, they would say it means Jesus is claiming to be God.
Yes,
Yeah?
of course. Yeah.
Okay. Should we do that?
In the theory of how do you call that? Sorry, but how do you call?
What do you mean? What?
Sorry, forgot the words. Etology. I don't know how you call it in English. Just in the way of how do you say?
What do you mean?
The study of religions. How do you call that? I forgot the words completely.
Study of religion.
Like
Religious scholars.
No,
Yeah, don't have to have jargons. It's study of religions. So those who study religions.
Study of religions.
So that statement. Okay, let me tell you why I disagree with what you say,
Yes, sir.
and my reasoning for that.
Yes,
When I look at the statement, look, before Abraham, I am. In the English language, only 4 words.
Yeah.
The way it's constructed, it doesn't tell me. In the language that I'm familiar with, in the language that I'm speaking you with,
Yes.
they connotate some kind of one claiming to be God. Because look, before Abraham means there's some kind of priorness to an individual called Abraham, yeah? And I am. Now, there is an identification of I, and he's saying am as in I am, I will be, I was, this kind of things. And before Abraham.
I'm just asking about that position.
Let them discuss.
Right.
Yeah, it's absolutely
So
fine.
don't heckle my discussion,
I'm
right?
not heckling. I peacefully asked them, are they Christian?
Okay, good. Listen carefully
Okay,
then.
okay.
Right. Without any interruptions.
Yes.
Like we are having a nice discussion here. So before Abraham, I am. Now, who is this I who's saying? So you're saying this is referring to Jesus Christ. Okay? So if I were to now substitute some of these things, before John was, I am.
Yeah.
If I make that claim, before John was, I am.
Yeah.
Does that statement make me claiming that I'm God?
You mean you're a pre-existent person?
Does that statement,
Tell that he could be God.
I said without
Likely
interrupting,
he's not.
a heckler, you know by their heckling. That's why I'm saying individuals like this interrupt a nice discussion, and then he abuses the very utility of Speaker's Corner. You might tell him, like, go and have your own discussion.
Well, here's the thing. He's just going to simply say, right, that saying I'm prior
He
to
thinks you don't
Abraham
have any
doesn't
intellectual
demonstrate that he's
prowess or
for
ability to have a
sure
discussion
God.
with
This
anyone.
is what the Arians argue as well in their exegete of the Bible. But he's going to have to concede that the Bible at least outlines that Christ, the person, pre-exists his human
Should we just
form,
move here on one
which
side?
would-
Okay, let's come here one side.
Calm down, yeah?
No.
We know how to play the game. Trust me.
Siraj,
we are
speak
respecting
to
you.
him.
If you're 16, you can't take advantage. Calm down, yeah? No, you've been too much now. Are you talking to him or to him? Choose. Thank you, then go. Let's get Stop interrupting.
No need to be.
Stop interrupting. No, he's been too much every day, man. We respect him many times. We don't do the same thing. The trust things he does. We don't do that. No, this is too much.
If he follows
This is too
me,
much.
the
Yes,
police
if you
knows the
follow him,
protocol.
Police are there. I'm gonna call police. If you follow him,
Let's move away to one side.
that's too much. It's been too much.
move away to one side.
He doesn't want to. No. If he doesn't want to, he can walk. Look. If you don't want to, he can walk. No, then thank you. Talk to him. Then.
Using I am as
Yes.
He's old enough to make
Yes.
his own decision. All right? He's
do you
old enough
think-
to make his
look,
own
He's
decision.
just 17.
Yeah.
How old are you? I think you're
I'm
older
19.
than him. 19. So are you relying on him or yourself?
I do that, but I mean,
If you can't
I'm
rely on
talking to
yourself,
this
you can
gentleman
walk.
here.
Yeah.
Akhi, he's going to have a conversation.
Yes.
Have a conversation with him.
Thank you.
So that's too
I
much.
want to-
So
yeah.
if I said,
I
if
got
I
your
made
point. It's
if I made a statement before John was I am,
Yeah.
from my statement, it's obvious, like you said,
Yeah.
that I'm claiming to be God, right?
Okay.
Is it obvious or
Yeah,
not?
so I'll reply. Thank you for it's a very good point. So what I ask you is this: is there in the Quran? Is there Abraham? Is there Abraham in the Quran?
Yeah,
Okay. Who is Abraham?
a prophet.
Yeah, but could you go deeper into that?
All in our
Yeah, I would like to know.
in the point of discussion, all you need to know
No,
is
but
he is a prophet of God.
Okay, I would just like to know more in the specifics of
But
Abraham.
that will be derailing the very point we're discussing, that statement that we are
Right,
unpacking.
right.
So
No, yeah,
what
but-
I'm saying,
yeah.
Abraham, in our perspective,
Yeah.
alayhi salam, he is a prophet of God, right?
Yeah.
A messenger of God.
Okay.
Now,
Is he
in
the
the
first prophet of God?
Judeo-Christianity,
Wait, sorry.
in Judeo-Christianity, he's also a patriarch, prophet of God.
He's
So
the
now,
first prophet of God.
he is not the first prophet of God
Yes.
in our paradigm.
I mean, in the Bible, personally, we believe he is.
Up to you. What do you believe in? That's your belief.
So yeah, because I'm just curious also on your.
No,
on your
he's not
belief.
a first prophet
So
of
he's
God.
not the first prophet.
He's not.
Okay, perfect. Well, in the Bible and in the Torah, which is.
Whatever you believe, that's
yeah,
fine. I don't have a problem with
I mean,
that.
obviously, the Bible does come from the Torah, of course, because there wouldn't be no.
The
Old
Bible
Testament without-
has the Torah. It doesn't come from the Torah.
Exactly.
The Bible doesn't come from the Torah. Bible is the Torah,
Well, it
the
is
Nevi'im,
not
the
actually.
Ketuvim, the Gospels, the Acts, letters,
The
epistles.
Gospels come after the.
What do you mean by the Bible and the Torah? Can you differentiate between
so-
these two things?
Yeah, yeah. So what I'm saying is that the Bible, there wouldn't be any Bible without the Torah. That's all I'm saying.
The Christian Bible wouldn't be anything without
yeah,
the Torah.
that's what I'm saying. So in the Torah,
Yeah.
we're talking about Abraham, which is the first prophet, right? So,
What's his
in
name
my-
again?
sorry,
That-
Abraham?
yeah. The father of nations, you mean?
Yeah.
That's what it means. His name
sir.
means the father of nations.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So,
So remember that one.
Yeah.
His name means the father of
yeah.
nations.
So when he says that, we're talking about the first prophet, right? The first, of course, God. I don't know if it's the
Where
same
does the
thing,
Bible
right?
say he's the first
Wait,
prophet?
could I
I'm
finish?
contesting
Yeah.
now.
Well, of course. Okay, perfect. Where does the Bible say Abraham is the first prophet? Well, before Abraham, it was only Adam and Eve. So we're talking about the first prophet being Abraham.
There was no other prophet before Abraham?
No,
Did God
but
the Bible-
That's not my point. But, like,
Are you saying Abraham before him there was no one else to tell people about God?
no, there wasn't. I don't
Was
know.
Noah
I'm not
after
quite
Abraham
sure.
or before Abraham?
So he says before Abraham was I. Why is he saying that?
Was Noah
Yeah.
before Abraham or after Abraham?
Was Noah?
Yeah. Why are you taking it? He's having a beautiful discussion.
He doesn't even want.
Let him have a conversation. He's allowed to have a conversation.
No, he's teaching you. It doesn't matter. He's asking you.
Yeah,
what-
he's asking, he's
who was
looking
there
for
before
answers.
Abraham. No, he has a point. You
But
know
I'm
his
curious
point.
about his.
You know his point. You know his point.
Anyway,
He said, Jesus
Let's
said-
give
you're ready for this
let's give you that. Okay, he is, according to your understanding, he is the first prophet. Let's give you that for the sake
Yeah.
of
So okay,
argument,
can
right?
I just
Continue.
reply?
Yeah.
So in my understanding of the Bible,
Yeah.
Abraham is the first prophet.
Okay.
what did you call it again?
Patriarch.
No, you
Father
call
of
it
nations.
the father of
That's
nations.
what his name
right?
means.
Yeah. So when I look at it, the father of nations, he's saying before the father of nations on earth was I that gave him the authority to be the father of nations, and therefore God. So that is,
It doesn't follow in any way, shape, or form.
why doesn't it follow?
If you now go back to the context where that statement is made,
Yeah.
Jesus
Yeah.
of the gospel was discussing with
Yeah.
the Jewish people.
Okay.
And he says, my father Abraham saw my day and he was happy. He was pleased to see me. And they said, why
Father
you?
Abraham was pleased to see me.
Yeah. I'm paraphrasing the story. And they said, you're not even 50 years old? How can you say you met Abraham? And so on. In that context, he said, before Abraham was, I am. Did you even know that context?
Yeah, I know the context.
Now
I don't
tell
know-
me the context, since you know about it.
Well, like you said.
No, I'm only giving you a little bit. Now, because you know about it, give me the full context.
No, I do not know the full context.
Right. So that's where the problem is. You have been somehow trained or educated to have some of this.
No, I just
proof.
haven't read enough of the Bible.
No problem.
Yeah.
So here is what the context is. He was discussing with them and he was saying, okay, Abraham saw my day and he rejoiced. Right? You can quote me the verses if you want because he has memorized them all. Right.
Genesis chapter 8.
Genesis
No,
chapter 8.
sorry, John chapter 8.
Yeah.
Verse 58. That's
John
the-
8:58. Right.
But
So-
before that, you know what he said? John himself said, they never knew who he was talking about. He was talking about the Father. So the Father puts his words into the mouth of his prophets. Do you understand now?
Yeah.
Even Moses spoke as a first person and he was talking about
So
God.
let's look at the context.
So otherwise, in other ways, Moses is God, David is God.
Is
because
Bible
they talk as a
Gateway
first
good for you?
person.
Oh, great.
Yeah?
Very good. Yeah.
Sure.
Of course.
So here is Bible Gateway. Let's go to the foot chapter.
Chapter 18.
Yeah. We've got it here. Here. Your father Abraham rejoiced at the thought of seeing my day. He saw it and was glad. 56.
Yeah.
You are not yet 50 years old.
Yeah.
They say to him. And you have seen Abraham? Very truly, I tell you. Jesus answered, before Abraham was born, I am. At this they picked up stone
So that,
to stone him, but Jesus hid himself, slipping away from the temple grounds.
Yeah. So exactly.
So,
Yeah. Could we just reread, right?
yeah.
So here he is saying, sorry, before Abraham was born,
I am.
I am.
Sure.
And so that's what my point was, on at least on how I understand.
Why
So-
did he say this
Yeah,
in
yeah.
response to
Yeah.
when they said you're not even 50 years old?
Well,
And you've
because
seen
he's-
Abraham.
He was trying to claim that he's an eternal being.
Yeah, well, exactly. So what he's saying is this, okay? So he's saying you're not even 50 years old. How can you claim you
Someone
saw
1,000
Abraham,
years ago, right? Yeah.
Like, exactly.
Yeah.
And he's saying, well, I am God.
No, he doesn't say that.
Well,
Yeah,
he's saying,
in
wait,
Exodus,
excuse me.
God uses
How
I am
Wait,
to
wait,
refer
wait.
to himself.
Even Abraham said I am. Is Abraham God as well?
When?
In Genesis.
Yeah, maybe I am
Excuse
happy.
me. Excuse me. So excuse me. So
Is he God?
okay.
15
So
to
here
Genesis
he's
15.
saying,
God said in Genesis,
okay,
referred to himself
I'm
as
not
I
even
am.
50 years old. How can
Paul
I
said I am.
myself
Is Paul God?
know Abraham?
Paul
Is he
says
God?
I am
So
a
you're-
prophet.
you're-
Well,
you're-
he's saying
Paul said I am
before
only.
Abraham, the first
So
prophet,
is Paul
Tell
God?
me where.
was born,
You want
was
me to
even
tell you?
born,
Okay.
I am. I am.
And what do you understand by that now?
Well, I am, meaning I am God.
No,
How is it not? Well, let me ask you why not then.
there
That's
are
what I would
other
like to know.
possibilities.
Look,
Yeah, but
when we're trying to understand what the text means,
Even
the
another
context gives us a hint, a clue, what the reply may be referring to.
I am doesn't mean he's
They are questioning, you are not even 50 years old, someone lived long time ago, hundreds, thousand years ago, and you have met him? He said, even Abraham was, before he was born, I am, meaning I was already there.
yes.
So this
Exactly.
statement
I was already
doesn't,
there. How could it be already there? Wait, yeah.
this statement is not a statement that I am God.
All right.
If that's the case, Satan was there before Abraham.
Of course,
Satan
of course.
is God.
Wait.
Yeah.
According to your logic here.
Satan
One at a time. Sorry, don't
Yeah, yeah.
interrupt him.
was Satan before Abraham.
Was Satan
before Abraham was born?
Abraham?
The answer is obviously yes. You don't need to. I'm asking rhetorically,
Yeah.
not for me to reply to you to reply.
I need to think
yes.
of your question.
Yeah. So the Satan was already there. So if Satan made a claim before Abraham was born, I am, it doesn't make Satan God. What it means is Satan was already there. What it shows in that statement, the most you can give is what we call pre-existence, meaning even before now, at this current time Jesus is speaking, he existed at that time.
He
That
existed
will
at
be the
that time.
contextual
He
meaning,
was
right?
already there. Yeah.
But not about I am God.
Wait. Okay.
Okay,
So
d-
if he's
so-
saying I was already there,
Yeah.
how can a man be already there if he's not God? You have to be
Slow down.
God to be already there.
Melchizedek. Melchizedek
Could you please explain it?
is another individual who also met Abraham. So we have got the context. What about Melchizedek? No father, no mother, no beginning of days, no end of days, but someone living there.
Sorry. Repeat the last part.
No genealogy,
Yeah.
no father, no mother,
Yeah.
no beginning of days, no end of days. Now,
No beginning of days, no end of days.
exactly.
This individual.
Now that
Can you quote me
individual,
the verse?
I will. The verse again,
Matthew, and Hebrews chapter 7 verse 3.
Hebrews 7 verse 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you
So
read?
let's go back. There you go.
Thank you.
How can a man,
He's
Be-
more than Jesus even.
of course, be there without a beginning of days, without end of life, and not being God?
Verse?
Context.
Like the whole Hebrews. Yeah.
The whole chapter. So now the question comes back to you. You should be asking me, how does a man who has no beginning of days, no end of days, not be God? You should be asking that question, not me. You.
I would like to read the.
You read it. You read at home as well. But just for a little bit of reflection here, think and reflect.
Oh, it's nor the end of life, meaning that he hasn't died yet.
He has no beginning of days or end of life, end of days.
No.
It says no beginning, no
Having
end.
neither beginning of days nor end
Right.
of life.
Does he
meaning
have a
that
beginning
he's
of
not
days?
dead
So
yet.
he's alive.
Does he have a beginning of days?
Life, no beginning.
Was he
Yeah,
before
no
Abraham
beginning.
or not?
No beginning.
He has no beginning, so he must be before Abraham.
He's trying to twist the verse. That is clear.
Yeah.
Even before that same chapter, John himself, you know what he said in John chapter 8 verse 26 to 29? He said Jesus was speaking about his God, the Father, but they did not understand him.
Right.
See, misunderstood. So God puts his mouth into his
Let's
word
think-
into the mouth
Barakallah
of
fikum.
his prophets.
Barakallah fikum.
David, you know what he said?
Avec le cœur ouvert.
David said the same. He spoken as a first person. Moses said the same. He said, "I'm gonna bring the rain." Who brings the rain? Moses or God? Moses said, "I'm gonna bring the rain."
Right. So
Moses God then?
so let's not. So
I'll just read.
as you read it just right now,
yeah,
what is your first?
I'm trying to understand.
Oh, please do. Please think and read.
Maybe that verse was saying that before also the person, the
Before
one who has informed the prophet about the information then about what Ibrahim is.
I'm not going to
And
lie,
by
I'm
the
not
way,
quite
before
sure.
Abraham is about spiritual. It's not about the flesh. It's about the spiritual.
So
He's
you
talking
see,
about
the Bible
And the
seems
flesh
to
of
suggest there are individuals
because my
who are older than Abraham, even without no beginning of days nor end of days. Have you heard a Christian saying Melchizedek is God?
Maybe one
I haven't either.
Another would be
So
that,
it doesn't matter if people have no beginning of days nor end of days, still it doesn't qualify them to be God. Jesus is less than that. He had beginning of days. He was born, right?
That's not his argument, though. His argument is that he's a pre-existing being, like someone that's been here forever.
So he's saying
Melchizedek has no father, no mother.
But in Genesis,
You're not listening to what I'm saying.
Yeah, so I understand
Melchizedek has no father, no mother. Jesus has a
It's not
mother.
about Melchizedek. It's
Melchizedek is God.
Melchizedek-
According to your logic,
No,
Melchizedek
no,
must
no.
be God.
Because I am.
You're not
in
asking, is
Hebrew
Melchizedek
is
God?
a word for God.
According to
I
his
am
logic,
in Hebrew. God
Melchizedek
himself
is
in
God.
Genesis called himself I am.
before someone is the criteria for being
Could you
God.
now explain
I
to
am
me?
is a different way of saying you're God.
Abraham said, "I am." Abraham said, "I am." Paul said, "I am."
If I said I
Are
am,
they
does that
God?
make me God?
Come on, man.
Well,
Sorry?
okay, if Muhammad says that.
No, if I said I am.
Does that
Okay,
make
I'm
you
saying
God?
I am. I am. I am.
And I am is different in Hebrew. In
can
Torah,
also
you know what
say
it
I'm
says?
God.
I am that he exists.
I'm a bit
Makes sense.
confused.
Never said that.
Your friend
He just
here,
said
look,
I am.
one second.
For Abraham, I am.
If I said I am,
Yeah.
what do you understand by that? If I just said I am?
It's the translation of it. It's back in the day.
Rightly so.
In
Translation.
Hebrews, they called I
So-
am. Was a different way for
So
saying
I
God.
am is a
In Genesis,
translation
it said, I am.
of Genesis.
God says, I am.
God says, Yahya, Yashar, Yahya.
It says I am.
No. In
I am
Hebrew.
the one who he exists.
What,
It's different.
what's the name in Hebrew?
Hebrew is different.
I'm not exactly sure what the name.
I've just told you. Yahya, Yashar, Yahya.
Yeah.
Okay, let's simplify it. Say Yahweh. Okay? Yahweh. Okay, so now let's do what we should be doing.
How many people said I am?
Moses said I am, Beggar said I am, all disciples said I am,
10:30.
Abraham said I
Father
am.
and I are one.
Okay, no, that's a different argument. Just let's deal with one.
Because you're
Let's
only
deal-
using this argument.
Let-
There's not only
listen,
one
should I just do one at a
argument.
time? Let's
There's only
deal with
one argument.
one
You've
at a
claimed it
time.
multiple times.
Excuse me, one at a time. So this issue is about I am. I am happens to be a name of God in the Hebrew Bible.
Yeah, Genesis.
Let's say it's Yahweh. So what we should do
Yahweh,
now,
I am.
we should ask firstly, why did the New Testament writers not translate, why did they translate the name? Because personal names should not be translated. What's your name?
Filippo, nice to meet
Filippo.
Yeah.
So if I say
What's
to
your
my Mansoor,
you. Nice to meet you.
nice to meet you, Filippo. If I say to my friends, not interested, thank you.
Not interested in what?
Okay, see you later.
He's scared.
Scared from Islamophobe. Okay. No. Come to one side maybe because these kind of Islamophobes should not be listened to. Right? Let's go. So as we were discussing,
Just go over there.
it's okay. Scared.
Does it have to be all filmed or
It's okay. It's educational purposes.
are you gonna post it online? Or?
They are. It's not my cameras. So what I'm saying, Filippo. I'm from Filippo.
Yes, sir.
My name is Mansoor, which means victorious.
Okay.
Someone who's helped.
Yeah.
So you're not going to go to your friends and say, I met victorious. And imagine now, my brother, he knows me, and you told him, I met victorious. He wouldn't have a clue who you meaning.
Yeah.
But if you said you met Mansoor, you say, oh, which Mansoor? Mansoor that comes to speak his corner sometimes. He'll say, yeah, I know him. So personal names usually, in our everyday language, we don't translate. We don't translate. And that's exactly what the New Testament writers did, but partially.
Could you repeat why
I-
you're talking about the translation?
I'm telling you why. Before Abraham was, the name of Abraham, is it translated to Father of Nations in that verse? Remember what I said earlier? Father of Nations is the meaning of the word Abraham or Abram. But the New Testament writer did not translate that name into Father of Nation. Like, before the Father of Nation, I am. They didn't do that. They kept the name Abraham, as you expect. So, were they being consistent and keeping the name Yahweh? They should have kept Yahweh. They should have said, before Abraham was Yahweh. But they didn't do that. That means
So you saying that Abraham was translated?
they did not translate it.
They didn't translate Abraham.
Because personal names should not be translated.
Okay.
Can you give me the references?
No,
Who said I am?
this is not interested at this point.
he trust.
Not this minute. So personal names should be retained. Abraham is retained as Abraham.
Yeah.
If the name of God is Yahweh, that should be retained too.
Okay.
But because they didn't retain the name, they translated it. Further questions arise. Is it the name of a translation of the name Yahweh, or is it I am referring to I was, I am, I will be, like in English tense? Context tells us it's not the name. Because they were saying, you are not even 50 years old, how can you claim you've met Abraham? He says, I am. Meaning I was there before Abraham. So it's nothing to do with name, it's to do with I am there.
Okay.
Yeah? Do you see? Contextually tells us it's not a translation of the name Yahweh. Even if it was, for the sake of weaker argument, right? Let's give it like it was a name.
Yeah.
Now let me now put the names back into the text.
Yeah.
And you tell me what it means. Filippo. I'm going to quote now. Before Abraham was Yahweh.
Yeah.
What am I claiming? Imagine I am Jesus and I make this
So
claim.
before Abraham was Jesus, basically.
No. Imagine I am Jesus and claiming, and I made that statement.
Before Abraham was
Before Abraham was Yahweh.
Yahweh. It means he was there before Abraham.
Before Abraham was
There
Yahweh.
Before Abraham. Before Abraham was Yahweh.
Yeah.
Was Jesus.
Before Abraham, who was?
Jesus.
No, he doesn't say Jesus was there. He says before Abraham was Yahweh, simply. If he said before Abraham was I am Yahweh, so you need, how many I ams you need? 2 I ams. I am Yahweh or I am. But in this verse, you can't have two I ams because only one. Either it's a name or it's an English tense. If it's a name, I translate it back. Before Abraham was Yahweh, it doesn't claim, if my brother said before Abraham was Yahweh, what he's claiming is Yahweh was before Abraham, not him.
Yahweh was before Abraham.
Yeah, nothing to do with Jesus.
Context to Yahweh. What's Yahweh?
Yahweh is God of the Jewish people.
Yahweh is Jesus.
Yeah, so where is Jesus claiming that he is Yahweh? Remember, our discussion was, where did he claim? In that statement, there is no claim by Jesus that he's God.
I see your point.
Thank you. Any other statements that comes to your mind?
So,
anything else where Jesus may have claimed that he's God?
the gentleman,
He can help, that's fine. He's a good guy.
Why would he say, I am the Father are one?
Okay, let's deal with that then.
Yeah.
If somebody says, I am the Father are one, what does it...
Yeah.
If somebody said...
You're missing the context of I am. Because it says in the verse prior, you are not yet 50 years old, and have you seen Abraham?
Yeah. It's okay.
You're missing the context.
But not in front of him, please. Yeah.
Because you're missing the verse ahead of it. It says, you're not yet 50 years old, and have you seen Abraham? Jesus said to them, truly, truly, I say to you, before Abraham was I am. So they took up stones to throw at him. He says, someone questions him and he says, Jesus, you say, you are not yet 50 years old, you say you have seen Abraham. And he says, before Abraham was I am.
Isn't that what I said?
He's talking about himself.
Isn't that what I said?
He's talking about himself, and then they take up stones to
No,
throw at him.
ask
Why
Filippo.
do they take up stones to throw at him?
Ask Filippo. Isn't that what I said?
Why do they take up stones to stone him when he says, I am?
The Jewish people were trying to stone him, kill him, crucify him by all means. Because he came to overturn their society, their status quo. Even though they could not find anything wrong in him, they're trying all their best means to frame him. But he was clever enough to refute them in all occasions. In there, he didn't respond and they didn't do anything. So, look. I've already explained. You came
late. Up
late.
stones. He says, I am. And then they take up stones to stone him after he says, I am. He's talking about himself. And he's talking about being before Abraham.
And what was his response?
Jesus is saying, I am
Okay,
before
good.
Abraham.
Now,
so do you agree Jesus
one
was
second.
before
One second.
Abraham?
The blank bit there. Now tell me here, what did Jesus defend? How did he defend when they tried to stone him?
How did he?
How did he defend being stoned? So he didn't defend. So you can't help me here and I can't help you because there is no Jesus' defense here. He didn't defend himself. So the crucial bit is missing. But there is an occasion where Jesus defended himself and they could not get away from him.
One point I will make. You know that verse, the Jews, some of them accused Jesus, yes? In the end, even he said, I'm going to the Father. So also, Jews accused Jesus to be the false Messiah. According to his logic, so Jesus should be false Messiah.
So at one point, Jesus, when he was accused of blasphemy, he refuted them. He stood there in his defense and he defended and he refuted them. Do you remember that incident when he defended?
Which one?
When they claimed that you, a mere man,
Who is
blaspheme.
he to forgive sins? Only God can forgive sins. Is that what you're talking about?
I'm talking about an instance where they said, you, a mere man, you're blaspheming, claiming to be God. That's what we're discussing, right? Did he claim to be God or not?
He did.
And he refuted them. How did he refute them? Or did he say, of course I am God? Exactly what you would expect. Did he say, of course I'm God?
I don't know which instance you're talking about.
In the end, he said, I have heard from God.
Let me remind you, where he said, isn't it written in your law that you are called gods, the sons of the Most High, and the scripture cannot be broken? Do you remember?
Yeah.
Right. So, when they were saying, you are blaspheming, you're claiming to be God, if he was really claiming to be God, he would have said, of course I'm God. Did he say that?
He didn't say he's not God.
No. Did he say that yes, I am God? That's not a blasphemy.
You're making an argument from silence.
No.
You're saying that he didn't say he isn't God.
That's where it's totally being, insincere discussion approach. If someone, I'm telling you, if someone is saying, look, you claim to be God, blasphemy, your response should be, if you are God, saying, I am God. What do you mean?
Well, his time hadn't come.
Time hasn't come. So basically, okay. So how did he reply?
He said, doesn't your own scripture say you are gods? So why are you stoning me?
So
He's making a point.
how is his response a defense to his position?
Because he doesn't say he's not God. They say
You're not listening to my point. When he said,
he never said he was. He clearly claimed to be God. That's what you're. But like
I am saying there is nothing in the Bible, unambiguous, clear, where Jesus ever claims to be God, the God of Israel. Nowhere to be seen. This is simply a belief.
Question.
Before you question, let's deal with that text. It's a belief that is trying to fit into the text. So when Jesus said, isn't it written in your law that you are called gods, Elohim, Ben Elyon, sons of the Most High? And sons of the Most High. And I said I'm only Ben Elyon. So he is telling them that even God has called other human beings, they are the judges, as Elohim God. Now, according to the Jewish,
what verse are you?
Psalms 82.
Psalms 82.
Yeah, from verse 1 to 6.
Psalms 82.
Start from the very beginning. God, Filippo, God presides in the assembly of gods.
God is taking his place in the divine council in the midst of the gods he holds judgment.
Slowly. He needs to listen something. Filippo, I want you to listen. Can you read the first verse again?
82, yes?
Psalms 82, yeah, verse 1.
God has taken his place in the divine council in the midst of the gods he holds judgment.
In the midst of who?
The gods.
Gods. How many gods do the Jewish people believe in? And what is this verse saying? God is having an assembly, a divine council, in the midst of who? Gods.
Lowercase g, gods.
Lowercase, uppercase, in the midst of gods. So now you have a Jewish concept. You have a Jewish concept saying God is there, in a divine council, in the middle of gods.
Yeah, but gods could be like a god.
Sorry?
Could be even this camera where is there. It could be a god.
Now God is having a divine council with cameras. He's having a divine council with gods.
Okay, yeah. No, what
Right.
I'm saying is when you say
it gets worse, and it continues. The verse 6 is the verse in question, and let's see what God says about them. Judge, no, 82:6. No, I'm talking about, did God call them gods or not?
So starting at verse 1, God has taken his place in the divine council in the midst of the gods he holds judgment. How long will you judge unjustly and show partially to the wicked? Give justice to the weak and the fatherless, maintain the right of the afflicted and the destitute. Rescue the weak and the needy, deliver them from the hand of the wicked. They have neither knowledge nor understanding, they walk about in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are shaken. I say, you are gods, sons of the Most High, all of you.
Right.
Nevertheless, you shall die like men and fall
Repeat
like
that verse
any-
again slowly, word for word.
I say, you are gods,
Sons of
the Most High, all
Right.
of you.
All of you.
Nevertheless,
You will die.
You shall die like men.
Right. So God is saying to those people, he's saying, I am telling you, you are God, sons of the Most High. Who's the Most High? It's God.
God.
And they are the sons of the Most High. So now God has how many children? Many.
Only one begotten.
Wait.
created before
According to
time.
God, he has many children, and they are also gods. So, when Jesus quoted this verse in his defense, how he refuted the Jewish people is saying, even one of the people said, I am God, those judges. Would that be a blasphemy? It's not going to be a blasphemy.
No, because they understood that Jesus was making a slightly different claim to be the only begotten Son
You
of
need
God.
to know what Jesus is claiming. This is the problem with the Christian interpretation of the text. According to Jesus, it is not a blasphemy if some of those judges said, I am a God. Even God. It's not going to be blasphemy. But what Jesus said, I didn't say that. I only said I am Ben Elyon, son of Elyon. So, Did he claim to be God according to this defense? No, he didn't.
According to the Jews, he did.
No, according to his debunking the Jews, he didn't.
Can you show me a verse where he says, "No, I am not God"?
Jesus was accused of blasphemy. You're claiming to be God, and he's saying, "Look,
Did he say?
I only said I am Ben Elyon."
Yep. Did he say that he didn't say that he's God? Did he say, "I refute you and say I am not God"? Or did he say,
One second,
"You
one
say,
second.
you all say"?
One
you are
second,
children
one
of
second,
God,
one-
yet
one
you
second.
don't stone yourself.
One
He
second.
said that because he knew that they.
Why are you preaching? Just let's have a discussion. So, Filippo,
You've had airtime.
it's not about having a time. It's to have a discussion, right? Rather than preaching. So Jesus said, the judges are called gods, and that's not a blasphemy. But did he claim to be God?
Yeah, the Jews thought he did.
The Jews thought he did it, but he said to them, "But I only said." So what did he say?
Did he say no?
Hang on. The Jews thought he said he was God, but Jesus replies to them. He says,
Did he say no?
excuse me, he said, "But I only said." When somebody says, "I only said," does that mean he also said something else?
That's an argument from silence. Did he
That's
say no?
not an argument, son.
Did he say no?
Okay. If God says, "I have only,"
No. Did he say no?
I am replying,
Did he
my
say no?
friend, I'm replying.
Okay.
If God, the Christian God, says, "I have only one begotten son,"
Jesus.
does that mean he also has other sons, or he has only one begotten sons?
Only one begotten son.
Oh, now, if he has only one begotten son, then it excludes everything else. So if somebody says, "I only said," how can it then include something else? Where is the Christian interpretation?
Okay.
Come
So
on.
Are you going to answer again? Did he say no?
I'm going to speak to now Filippo. I think I've dealt with you now. Thank you very much. Filippo, I'll
To be
continue.
honest, I would like to listen because
Yeah. No. What I'm saying is now. So this was one point where he could have been saying, "I am God," but he refuted them and saying, calling God is not a blasphemy. Neither is the lesser form calling the Son of God, because the Son of God is nothing to do with divinity. Like those judges were sons of the Most High, and they are not gods. So there is nothing in the Bible that one can pinpoint and say Jesus claims to be God. But even if you bring hundreds of verses in the Bible where Jesus claims to be God, it will not be sufficient for me. Do you know why? Because simply a mere claim doesn't make you God. There are a lot of writings in the tomb. No, let me tell you very briefly, and they'll hear from me. A lot of writings in the tombs of in the pyramids. Children, huh? Come to speakers, go not act like children.
This is good, man.
Anyway, the police are there, they can handle it. Right. So, in the pyramids, inside or outside, there are many writings about God of the underworld and God of the overworld. Is that true? There is a God of the underworld? There you go. Just because a text says so, it doesn't make
I
it
don't
true.
know if they refer God of the underworld to Satan. I don't know.
God of the overworld?
Why are you calling someone else God to begin with?
Yeah.
I'm not.
There are many religions, many texts that will say, "I am God."
So could I just reply to
So it
one thing
doesn't-
you said?
Yeah.
Because
Go ahead.
before you said you were talking about, okay, even if you bring me every quote about Jesus claiming to be God, it wouldn't be enough for you, because it's not only because you claim it that you're God. That's what,
Because any book can claim for anyone to be
so
claiming
that's
anything.
correct. Like I was quoting you, But the thing is, right, if you put it in that way, then someone claiming that he has a message of God, such as Muhammad, could be considered the same thing then. It's not enough that you say...
That claim is a claim. It needs to be verified.
Exactly. So, like, that's what I'm saying. Like,
so the claim of Jesus, who understood that he was God? That's the question we were discussing.
Yeah.
The people, when they came to him, what did they consider him to be? The people. Not the accusers, the people.
Well, I mean, Jesus asked to his disciple, what do people think?
People. What did the people think who he is?
Like,
They brought
what
their,
people?
like,
What people?
they brought their daughters and their children, the sick, the blind, the
Well, they
leprous.
thought he was God.
Never.
Well, I mean, if you bring some... okay, I'll just
None of the text says.
Okay.
Instead,
So I'll just put it in a historical context, which I think is we could agree with. If you were back in the times and you were a Jew, and you, like, imagine someone say, okay, you know what, this man claims to be God. Me as a Jew, surrounded only by Jews, you know what, I'll just follow that guy, go to his tent and try to be healed. That would be considered as the most blasphemous thing or whatever, like religious crime you want to call it. That would be considered unacceptable.
But that's not how the history is, though.
So if they did it, many people did it, like you claim, why would they go and get healed by someone?
I'll tell you.
By someone else who isn't God?
Sure. I will reply. The picture that you've drawn is totally ahistorical, abiblical. You know what abiblical means? It doesn't fit in the Bible.
Okay.
Because what we find in the gospel is people know there's a healer going around. A man approved by God to perform wonders and miracles. A prophet. So they came all over from different places and they said, thank God that he has given this man the authority to heal people. A man approved of God, approved with wonders and miracles, and he's a prophet of God. So they start talking to people that he's a prophet of God. So the picture, the Bible depicts that he's a prophet of God, a miracle worker, approved by God.
Okay. Who says that?
People. The people who came to him to be healed.
Okay. Why do you believe that Jesus is a prophet?
Why do I believe what?
Why do you believe that Jesus is a prophet?
I don't have to believe in the Bible to make him a prophet. Look, look.
Why yourself?
Look. We are doing a historical inquiry about the position of. He's come back again. Okay, one more time. Let's go over there. If he comes again, can you call the police? It's harassment. Come over here.
I'll need to go very soon.
Yeah, soon. Okay, because if he follows us here, it's going to be harassment. I'll call the police.
You have to allow him to know. Yeah, I mean.
No, he's a heckler. He's a heckler. He's a Islamophobe. I had a discussion with him earlier. Right, okay. No, it's okay. If he comes again, call the police. This is the second time. And he
wants him to come. Do you want him to come?
No, I don't want him. He's heckling.
He's scared. He's going to lose. He's scared.
Look, don't invite hecklers in.
It's a human conversation.
No, don't invite hecklers in the discussion.
So
they mess the discussion.
So
right, okay.
I wanted to ask you, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
So you're saying Jesus is a prophet, correct? Yes or no?
My claim is a prophet of God, independent of the Bible.
Okay.
Bible has nothing to do with it.
Independent of the Bible. But why do you yourself, as of today, believe that he's a prophet?
Sure, I can do that because of the Quran.
Because you're a Muslim?
No, because of the Quran. Because God has revealed the Quran with proof and evidence to demonstrate it's from God.
How can you prove to me it's from God?
Sure. So what kind of proof would you expect from a book of God to prove that it's from God? See, do you have any other suggestions, and I will tell you.
Yeah. So
can you call the police now? Can someone get the police over? Go on, get the police. This guy is coming to harass. Okay, if he comes again, do that. Yeah. Okay. Continue.
All right. So you're asking me what
do you think?
Yeah.
What is your expectation? Yeah. Because I have my own understanding, which I will share.
Which I am curious of.
But I will share. But I want to know, you as I say, independent inquirer.
Yeah.
When you want to establish, how do we verify a book is a book from God?
Yeah.
What do we expect from this book?
Okay. Well, I think the first thing for me is it accurate? Is it historically accurate? Is it rational? So for me, I'll tell you, for example, the first thing which I don't understand with Quran is this. So you have, I mean, you're saying the 12 disciples, but it's not only the 12 disciples, really.
No, that history that you're giving, that history is disputable.
Yeah.
So you cannot bring disputable material to deal with.
No, but it's not. But I don't agree myself with that personally.
Sorry?
Because you're saying that okay, you cannot relate to that. It's not historically accurate.
No, what I'm saying is to verify.
Why would it not be?
I'm going to explain to you, see if that makes sense. To say the Quran is not historically accurate by bringing in something of the history which is disputable is not a good science, not good inquiry, good investigation. You have to bring something solid for the basis to judge something by.
Again.
Whatever you're bringing is not solid.
Okay. So whatever I bring is not solid.
No.
Whatever.
About the disciples you bring is not solid.
Okay, none of the disciples, but 500 eyewitnesses that
name
saw
them.
him.
Number one.
All right. Okay. Name the people that then.
No. Your statement. 500 eyewitnesses. It's a claim that we hear from Christians. Name them.
Yeah.
Not only that.
Know the name of each individual 500 eyewitnesses.
You can ask your friends later, and then you should ask them. Tell me about those witnesses. Were they of good memory? and good character, and who testified of the good name and good character. Anyway, so how do I know the Quran is from God? So accurate.
So I want to ask you this. So
Should we
you
deal
have
with
a
that?
man- You have a man at year zero. You have a man at year zero, let's call it, and a man at year 600. The man at year 600 says he was not God. Whatever he was saying was not true, and God is this and that. Why is that true 600 years later? How can a man 600 years later know more
Simple.
about...
It's simple.
Simple. Because it's from the word of God, I guess.
If it comes from God,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if it's 1,000 years later
Yeah.
or 1 million years later.
Why is it the word of God?
That's what I'm
my
saying.
question.
Why is the word of God? Because of the proof and evidence it has within it. And
proof and evidence.
the proof and evidence was I was expecting from you to tell me what do we expect.
I don't know the proof and evidence.
Okay, now I'm telling you. So the Quran gives the proof that this is a book in such a way it's compiled or composed that it cannot be imitated. Cannot be imitated. Not by human beings, not by what we call the spiritual beings, the jinn. Even if they came together. Because God has made the structure, the composition of the Quran, its surahs and its ayat in such a way it presents the divine hallmark that this is the signature of God within it. If it wasn't from God, then any scripture, any language or linguistic piece of literature, right? Any piece of literature can be imitated. You can ask ChatGPT and it can imitate the Bible, the Gospels. Easy. Ask ChatGPT if you can imitate the Quran. I have a whole video.
Won't be able to.
It won't be able to, right? You can see my video on
I
the
don't know much
internet.
about it,
You
to
can
be honest. I'll watch your video for sure.
ChatGPT,
Yeah.
Quran imitation Mansoor, and it will come up and it will show you.
I don't think at all. I don't agree, to be honest, with what you're saying about being able to imitate the Bible. The Bible is the first hyperlinked book that it was ever recorded, and that is claimed,
What I mean by imitation
that
is
is claimed by neutral sources. It is not claimed by Christians. It is the first hyperlinked book. So how?
what do you mean by that? I don't understand.
So basically, a hyperlinked book is a book which has logical connections. So if I go in Genesis 1 and I go in, I don't know, whatever you want, in John 3:18,
yeah.
you'll have logical connections which cannot be. So if I change one of those logical connections, it will break
Is there a study done?
another. Yeah.
Do you know of any? Do you know of any
Yeah.
academic studies done to provide this hyperlink?
So all I want to say is that I think it would be very hard for ChatGPT to imitate a hyperlinked book.
What I'm saying is there a study done?
Yeah.
Do you want to share with me those studies? I can have a look.
I would like to.
Fine, do that at the end maybe. But what I want to show you too.
I'll soon need to go.
Why?
I'm not.
Fine.
We've been here for an hour and a half.
What
so-
we have is the Bible says in Ezekiel chapter 18. The whole chapter is a refutation of a concept that children can inherit the sins of the father. Now, what do the Christians believe? Children inherit the sins of the father. So, Bible is a book which is of contradiction. One book says, or one part of the book says, children inherit the sins of the father.
Where?
That's the whole belief of the Christians.
So where does it say?
I can give you this. Didn't get the brother who was here earlier on, Siraj. He knows the verses by memory, right? Find Siraj, he will give it to you. And as we are speaking,
Your friend, I think, is there.
yeah, Siraj is over there. If you can ask Siraj, he'll give you those verses, right?
Yeah.
So
where does it say?
we will bring those verses where the sins of the
Ezekiel 18:20.
Ezekiel 18:20 is a refutation that children can inherit. Whole chapter Ezekiel.
Yeah.
Chapter 18 is a refutation of that belief.
Yeah.
But in other places, the sins can go up to 3-4 generations. Children can be guilty of the father's crime. Okay? So Bible contradicts here. So even if Siraj, Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah, alaikum salam.
Some verses of the Bible says the children can inherit the sins of their fathers up to 3-4 generations.
Yeah. Jeremiah 18:20. I mean Ezekiel 18:20.
Ezekiel 18:20 refutes that.
Psalm 49:7.
What does it say? Psalm 49.
And no one can die for another.
No. There are verses
Yeah.
which says the sins transmits to next generation. Ezekiel says no, it doesn't.
Yes.
Which one says it does?
No, it doesn't say that.
It does.
What verse?
Nazam knows. Nazam. Assalamu alaikum. There you go. Another brother who can help.
I didn't understand.
Which of the verses talks about the sins of the fathers can transmit to the next 4 generations?
Ezekiel 18:18.
Even there. But
Is that the one I quoted?
Ezekiel 18 is a refutation that it doesn't,
Oh, that
that's why
can
I'm
transmit.
confused.
which can transmit. Would you mind do that? Okay. So
So
the Bible, he's bringing now. He can have a look as well. So the Bible contradicts in these very fundamental messages, right? My claim until it's established.
I would like to see the verse, but
I will bring the verse.
What I will say is that what you're claiming right now is, I mean, I don't know the verse right now, so.
We're going to give you the verse. No
But
problem.
anyways,
So the Bible can be
So
imitated.
I just want to say, if it is in the Old Testament,
Yeah.
that is also where.
4:7.
Exodus 34:7. Let's have a look.
So I'll just say this last thing, which is
Exodus. Yeah, I'll listen to you.
which is that when you take the Old Testament,
25.
Okay.
Chapter 21.
34.
For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, punishing children for the iniquity of parents to the 3rd and 4th generation for those who reject me.
No, it's here. Exodus 34:7.
Yeah.
That one is correct.
Okay. Well, now what does it say? Let's remind him. So this one was.
God, the iniquity of the fathers on the children and the children's children to the 3rd and the 4th generation.
Filippo. So here you go.
sorry.
And chapter.
So I'll just say this: when you take the Old
When you say
Testament,
no man can die for others.
so the thing is this: I genuinely have to go.
I
But
know,
thank
I
you
know,
very
you
much
have
for
to
the chat. So, but no. I want to say the last thing, which is that now you're taking the Old Testament.
It's from God or not?
Yes, sir, it is.
There you go. So it doesn't matter
Yes,
if
sir.
it's all or
But
no.
I'll just give you like this kind of metaphor or whatever you call it in English. So, if imagine today yourself have to train for the ultimate race. So if you win this race, like the ultimate, if you win this race, you don't have like theoretically you win it, you don't have to train anymore after that. Like you've won the best, like the best race, right?
Yeah.
The ultimate race. So if you won that race, right? Then, of course, before that, there's a lot of training. You have to train, you have to sacrifice, you have to, work a lot. Well, I think that is in the same way what happened with Jesus Christ. The Old Testament, through the prophets and through the messages of God, was a preparation for the arrival of Jesus Christ. Sacrifices and when Jesus Christ arrives, the ultimate sacrifice has been done, and he says that through him your sins can be forgiven, generational curses can be forgiven. And so that is the point that I'm trying to make. When you're talking about the Old Testament, okay,
Did they
you
believe
for that.
God had children?
Sorry.
Did the Old Testament prophets ever tell them, their people, that God has a son?
Yeah, of course.
Never.
God has a son. Yeah, of course.
The Old Testament
Can I-
prophets never told
Okay.
their people that God has a son.
Okay.
Instead, they said God is such that he's one, only, unique. There's no God before him, no God after him.
So I'll read it for you. It's Proverbs 34.
Sorry?
30 verse 4.
Which chapter?
Proverbs 30
Proverbs
verse 4.
34.
Who have established all ends of the earth? What is the name? And what is his son name? I'll read it in a different thing. But basically saying, who has established the earth? Who has created this? Who has his son? And what is the name of his son? So the prophets did claim there was a son.
Let me take a note of that. So what's it called?
So
Proverbs?
it's Proverbs 34.
One second.
And this one.
Hang on.
Yeah, also Psalm says it.
Hang on.
I will declare the decree. The Lord has said to me, you are my son. Today I have begotten you.
And
But anyways,
hang on.
let's keep saying
Proverbs 34 what?
Proverbs 30 verse 4.
34, okay? Next time, because you are not having time to discuss, we
Yeah,
can discuss
yeah.
that. So,
Sorry about it.
How many children did God have in the Old Testament?
How many children did God have in the Old Testament?
Is David the begotten son of God in the Old Testament?
No,
That's what the Bible says.
it does. But
He's the begotten son of God, David. So, do the Jewish people worship David as a son of God?
Proverbs was after David, first of all.
Even if it before or after, we're talking about pre-Christ. Okay? So according to the Bible, God has sons by the tons. Many sons.
Then you quote it to me.
Ephraim, Ezekiel, even Adam is called a son of God. Do you worship him?
No, I don't.
He's a son of God though.
I mean, okay, but the difference is that Jesus is God in human form, humbled himself.
Adam is a son of God.
Okay, but he has no divine power. Like
So
Jesus has.
even if you're a son of God,
Anyways,
it
so-
may mean that you don't have any divine powers. So that means you're not God. Son of God doesn't make anyone God.
Okay.
Yeah?
Again, but I'll tell you another claim.
Jesus,
Actually, I'll give you another one.
Jesus. Who gave the divine power to Jesus? Himself?
Of course. No, of course.
No. The Father. Jesus says, I have no power of my own.
The Father. But
Right.
by himself, he says,
Just
the Father
try-
is greater than I because he
Try
humbles
to
himself.
try to understand something.
Yeah.
If I said I can of myself do nothing,
As I hear a judge.
if I can of myself do nothing,
Yes.
power is given to me. So before the power was given to me, what was I? Was I God?
No.
Right. So if you are not God to begin with, can you be made into God?
If you're not God to begin with, can you be made to be God? Well, no, you're still a human being.
No. If you like Jesus, if you are like Jesus,
I really need to go. Like,
yeah. If
finish
you
this point.
if you are like Jesus,
Yeah.
who is not God to begin with, because he says, I have nothing to do, I cannot do anything of myself.
But
So if you are God, not God to begin with,
But
you cannot be made
But
to be God.
he's not saying it in that context because you're saying he's not saying it in that context.
Can God ever say, I cannot do anything of myself? Can God, the real God, the true God, ever say, I can't do anything of myself?
Let's go.
Philip, think.
Well, thank you very much. I'll think about
No,
it
think
while
about
you
this
said.
as you go along. Can the true God ever say, I can't do anything of my own self?
Okay.
Okay, take care, my friend. Pleasure
Well,
speaking to you.
I'll pray also for you.
Thank
Yeah?
you.
God bless you.
Take care.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.